9 experienced hikers, all seasoned athletes and friends from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, were found dead in the Ural Mountains, with bizarre injuries that would haunt the investigators for years to come, including severe internal injuries, like broken ribs and fractured skulls, without any external trauma, and strange radiation readings that would make you wonder if they stumbled upon something sinister. But here's where it gets dark. The group, led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old experienced hiker, embarked on an expedition to the Atorton Mountain on January 27, 1959, but never returned, and it would take weeks for their bodies to be found, scattered across the mountain slope, in a scene that would become one of the most infamous hiking tragedies in history. The group consisted of experienced hikers and athletes, including Igor Dyatlov, Zenaida Kolmogorova, Lyudmila Dubinina, Alexander Kolevatov, Georgy Krivonishenko, Yuri Doroshenko, Nikolai Thibault Brunel, Semyon Zolotaryov, and Yuri Yudin, who would later become the only survivor of the group, after he turned back due to illness on February 2, 1959, just a day before the group reached the mountain. And what happened next would remain a mystery for decades, with many theories trying to explain the unexplained deaths, but none of them would be able to fully uncover the truth. Nobody talks about this part, but the group was well prepared for the expedition, with experienced leaders, proper gear, and a well-planned route. But something went terribly wrong, and it's this combination of experience and tragedy that makes this story so chilling. And this is where everything fell apart, as the group's bodies were found, one by one, with injuries that would make you question everything you thought you knew about the incident. But here's the thing, the investigation into the incident was led by the Soviet Union, and it was shrouded in secrecy, with many details never being released to the public. And it's only in recent years that the files have been declassified, revealing a web of mysterious circumstances, including strange lights in the sky, reported by the group in their journals, and the fact that some of the hikers were found to be radioactive, with high levels of radiation detected on their clothing. And this is where the story takes a dark and sinister turn, as you start to wonder if the group stumbled upon something they weren't supposed to. Something that the Soviet Union wanted to keep hidden. And this is where the conspiracy theories start to kick in, with some believing that the group was killed by the government, or that they stumbled upon a secret military facility, or even that they encountered something paranormal. As the investigation continued, more bizarre details emerged, including the fact that some of the hikers were found to be wearing each other's clothing, and that one of the hikers, Lyudmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue, with no explanation as to how it was removed. And this is where the story starts to get really weird, as you try to piece together the events of that fateful night. And the more you learn, the more questions you have. And it's this sense of mystery that keeps you hooked, as you try to uncover the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident. And this is where the story becomes a real-life horror movie, with the Ural Mountains as the backdrop, and the group of hikers as the unsuspecting victims. And this is where everything starts to unravel, as the truth begins to emerge. But it's a truth that's shrouded in mystery and secrecy. But here's the thing, the Soviet Union's investigation into the incident was plagued by inconsistencies and contradictions, with some officials claiming that the group died from a Yeti attack, while others believed it was a military experiment gone wrong. And it's this lack of clarity that has fueled the conspiracy theories. And this is where the story becomes a real-life mystery novel, with twists and turns that keep you guessing. And it's only by examining the evidence and the official records that you can start to piece together what really happened. And this is where the story becomes a real-life thriller, with the truth being more shocking than fiction. And this is where the Dyatlov Pass incident becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of the unknown and the unexplained. And this is where the story leaves you breathless, as you try to process the sheer scale of the tragedy. And this is where everything comes to a head, as the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident is finally revealed. And it's a truth that's both shocking and terrifying, as you realize that the group stumbled upon something they shouldn't have. something that was meant to remain a secret. And it's this realization that makes the story so chilling. As you wonder what other secrets are out there, waiting to be uncovered. And this is where the story becomes a real-life horror story. With the Ural Mountains as the setting, and the group of hikers as the unsuspecting victims. And this is where the Dyatlov Pass incident becomes a legendary tale. A cautionary story about the dangers of exploring the unknown. And this is where the story leaves you with a lasting sense of unease. As you wonder what really happened to the group, and what secrets are still hidden in the Ural Mountains. The aftermath of the incident was just as mysterious, with the Soviet Union quickly covering up the details, and the families of the hikers being left with more questions than answers. And it's only in recent years that the truth has started to emerge. With the declassification of the files, and the release of new evidence. And this is where the story becomes a real-life detective story. With the truth being slowly uncovered, and the mystery being solved. But it's a mystery that's still shrouded in secrecy. And it's this sense of intrigue that keeps you hooked, as you try to uncover the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident. And this is where the story becomes a legendary tale. A cautionary story about the dangers of the unknown. And this is where the Dyatlov Pass incident becomes a part of history. A reminder of the unexplained and the mysterious. In the end, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most bizarre and unexplained hiking tragedies in history, with a legacy that continues to haunt us to this day. And it's a reminder that there are still many secrets out there, waiting to be uncovered. And this is where the story leaves you with a lasting sense of unease. As you wonder what really happened to the group, and what secrets are still hidden in the Ural Mountains. And this is where the Dyatlov Pass incident becomes a part of our collective consciousness. A cautionary tale about the dangers of the unknown. And this is where the story ends. But the mystery lives on. And if you want to hear more stories like this, subscribe for more stories like this.